Thanks for tuning in. This is the first of a series of cards where I'll be stepping through a model for transformation called Spire. The purpose of Spire is to offer greater clarity over what tools are best depending on where you're at on the transformation journey. There's an abundance of tools and frameworks at our disposal, but very little out there on how they work together. What Spire demonstrates is they all complement each other when used at the right place at the right time. Quite often I see organisations getting onto the journey at different points, using the wrong tools for the job, or taking risky shortcuts because they lack a clear transformational roadmap. The basic principle behind Spire is that the stages of transformation are represented as a spiral that revolves inwards until you're taken a conceptual model and landed it as a business as usual practice. The way we do this is by oscillating between the realms of concept and reality. This is a common creative process used in design and prototyping, and it works because it's iterative. It's a practice of continuously improving your conceptual thinking based on insights gained from testing in reality. The problem is that often there are a lot of blocks as you move between concept and reality. You hear these arguments between industry and government, or sales and senior management, when work programs are criticised for not being practical in reality. We seem to hit a wall crossing the concept-reality divide. What this model demonstrates is that everyone has a part to play if they understand their role in the process. Having a clear impact strategy is vitally important, but these are merely theoretical until an organisation or team is charged to carry out a proof of concept to test it in reality. It's not until you've completed an entire revolution that anyone can have a clear picture of what's going to shift behaviours, perceptions and attitudes towards the transformational goal. The objective of the Spire transformational roadmap is to enable us to move through each stage with confidence and clear expectations on what the outputs and outcomes are, and what is very much an emergent process of discovery. That way, all stakeholders in the process are on board for the entire journey and know their part to play. In this card, I'm going to initially focus on Revolution 1. Each loom of the spiral is called a revolution. It's called a revolution because the outcomes you develop should be surprising and revolutionary. Otherwise, what's the purpose of transformation? A transformation should be a calculated leap, not a small evolution. Transformations will start with the realization that the old model no longer works. These indicators come up in a current state assessment. Red flags in the current state might be a dip in turnover, low well-being, a significant market shift, or in the current crisis situation, the old market completely evaporates. Using your current state as a backdrop, you, your team, all your stakeholders have to reimagine a new future. I will share a resource on how I use an approach to do this called the Impact TP in a later card. Using your new collective vision as a lens, you then need to reprioritise your areas of focus and develop an impact strategy which spotlights the players you need to engage with. Armed with this conceptual model, it's now time to start testing this in reality. The challenge here is not to get too far ahead of yourself and try and leap into business cases or marketing strategy, because right now you have the why, but you don't have the how. You don't know what interventions are going to be needed to shift behaviours and perceptions until you've tested your concept in reality. I'll give an example. Up until recently, it's been common practice in transportation infrastructure to identify a priority areas such as traffic congestion, expanding populations, and move directly into major works, which invariably means more or bigger roads. These major works cost tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars and are built with very light public or community consultation. Now we're seeing a shift towards tactical urbanism and the creation of temporary small works to test concepts in reality. These real-life feasibilities often point towards multiple alternative solutions, such as active transport or other novel approaches which can arrive at the same outcome but at a fraction of the cost and with much higher community engagement. Each revolution of the spiral is effectively two sides of the same coin. The concept half of the revolution deals with the strategic positioning, and the reality half tests this against human behaviour using human-centred design. These low-cost proof of concepts exist to test thinking and act as a valuable research piece that validates the conceptual model. As mentioned, it's only once you've tested your thinking in the real world that you have a clear picture of what's going to create the necessary shift in your citizens, audience, market, or stakeholders. I'll share more details of the processes in cards to follow. So that's Revolution 1 of the Spire. Thanks for tuning in, and if you have any questions, be sure to get in touch.